If you are enjoying this podcast and other podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon Shop. Awesome t-shirts and mugs from your favorite shows so you can tout your podcast pride, all while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. And make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com and get your dragon swag on.
In a mythical land of magic beasts and blades known as Burbank, California, an independent podcast network sets off for the greatest adventure of their pitiful lives. This is Dungeons and Dragon Wagon.
Hello and welcome to Dungeons and Dragon Wagon, the Rhyme or Reason, a D&D inspired homebrew role-playing game recorded and released out into the world for your entertainment. As always, I am your host, Jake Lloyd, and the co-founder of Dragon Wagon Radio and host of podcasts like Elaborate and What the Heckonomics. And of course, I am playing the half-orcan fighter Junk. Say hi, Junk.
How's it going?
I see you have a brand new Warhammer.
Oh yeah, this is the nine-headed smasher, isn't she a beaut?
Yeah, she's quite lovely. In fact, if people want to see the nine-headed smasher, head over to D&DWpod.com or follow us on the social medias at D&DWpod, and you can see what exactly that looks like. And of course, I am here, not alone, because that would be quite a boring game. But instead, I have with me my acquaintances in adventure. To my left, she is a writer, a poet, and a friend to the animals. Follow her on Twitter and Instagram at Alexandra Hoy. It is the one and only Alexandra Hoy.
Bonjour.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling caffeinated.
Caffeinated? That's good. I have a question for you, and it's an important question.
What
Do
is
you
that?
think that now you are better suited to face the monsters that we come across in this game after having a real life experience one-on-one with a coyote?
Absolutely. I feel more prepared now.
Yeah?
I have a better understanding of wildlife.
Sure. Alexandra had a run-in with a coyote, and I use that term very specifically.
Are you referring to the fact that I ran away, as you are not supposed to do,
Yes.
from this giant alpha coyote?
Yes. You ran and screamed your entire way up our staircase.
At midnight.
At midnight. Jake, open the door! I thought you were being chased by a legit murderer. I opened the door, ushered her in, and I closed the door and I locked it. I locked the door.
Which is what you should do. If
good.
Looney Tunes taught us anything, is the coyote is wily and he will stop at nothing.
All right. Well, I'm glad you survived and that you're here with us today. To, of course, play the human ranger, Adeline. Say hi, Adeline.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, great. Have you had any experience with coyotes?
I do not.
Okay. Well, that's a shame. And to her left, he is the man with no foe. He's a writer-director and the man who is as tall as Alexandra is good at running away from coyotes. Follow him on Twitter at Matt_Hingstman and on Instagram at mhingstman. It's Matt Hingstman.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good.
You good? Raise that microphone up just a tiny little bit here.
Like
'cause
how's
it's kinda-
this?
There
Is that
we
better?
go.
Ooh.
Talking into it. Sounds great. This is our first daytime, early day recording of D&DW.
This is new for me.
Yeah, and I feel like out of all of us, you are the most likely to be awake in the morning. So I expect a lot from you
excuse me?
today. I don't know. You just have that. You have that. You're dressed nicely. You have nice shoes. You always have nice shoes on. I see a guy with nice shoes. I go, oh, he gets up early.
Face looks like a plate of eggs.
Our guest of quest for this chapter, she is a sketch comedian, writer, and co-host of Myth Understood. Follow her on Twitter and Instagram at the Sarah Oliver. It is the Sarah Oliver.
Hello.
Are you excited? Because
I'm
we're excited.
so excited.
Yeah.
Yay.
What's your history with D&D and role playing games?
My history with D&D and role-playing games is playing with all of you people here in Paul's living room like a year ago.
Was that short little campaign the only time you've ever played?
That's it.
Oh boy.
Let's get nasty.
That's what I'm going to call prepared. And at this point, it would be best if we handed the reins off to the creator of these lands to bring us back into the action. He is a writer and co-host of Myth Understood with Sarah Oliver as well. And of course, our fearless DM. Follow him on Instagram at @ThePaulBianchi. It is ThePaulBianchi.
Hello, Bork Bork.
What
I
was
said
that?
bark bark because I'm right next to the pod dog campfire.
Oh, so you're just barking at people
Yeah,
now?
I'm speaking his language. Bark 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 bark.
You're very inclusive that way.
Yeah, I tried to be. Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to jump into the story from where we left off because no one knew where we were.
No.
So
Nope.
So is everyone ready to jump back into these crazy lands?
There we are.
Great. We're gonna jump back in with chapter 6.1, The Shining Below. And away we go. The blood-stained princess, Almone Lorey, was a sight to behold in life and a curiosity in death. As the rest of her body decayed into a skeletal state, Almone's hand remained fleshy and pink, yet calloused with the scars of a blood mage's blade. Her hand was thought to contain vast resources of stored magic. Kelber Ornie had read these notes in the library of Red Anchor Keep, the research of Archmagus Philemus and his scribes, research that he had pocketed for himself while his companions were imprisoned in the dungeon. He had yet to learn how Philemus had wielded the hand of Almone to trap the essence of the young Shadow Elf girl in the egg-like form Matson now carried. His focus was on learning on how to use it in conjunction with the Onyx Skull to teleport to Silverhamer. In the dark of an unknown cave, it would appear he got it wrong. I don't know what happened. Does anyone have a torch? I can barely see a thing.
Here you go.
I pull out one of my torches, light it up.
Oh, that's so much better.
When Junk waves his torch around the dark space, the entire party can now see that they are in a classic depiction of a cave, dripping stalactites and wet walls, scuttling small spiders and centipedes. It's a vaguely circular chamber about 16 feet in diameter. There are 2 exits to the chamber, a dark passageway to your back, and an illuminated blue passageway crisscrossed heavily with spider webs.
What happened, Ornie? We said you were a cool guy, and we thought we were going to end up in Shell's Basin.
I also thought that we would end up in Shell's Basin. The page that I pulled from said that it would take us to the closest source of great magic, and my understanding of that was that it would take us to the Grand Kelbana Stone of Silverhamer, which should be the largest close resource of magic.
It could be that the stone has already been taken, and we are in fact near it.
Oh, I pray that hasn't happened yet.
Well, does this cave look familiar to you?
This cave reminds me of a time that I escaped from the rain with a young nun, and we had a night of tantric intercourse while the rain was pouring out on the outside, but
Aw.
no, I don't believe this is the same cave because there would be an imprint of my buttocks on the ground over there.
Matson has stopped listening and is trying to use his dark vision to look down the darker corridor.
Roll for perception.
12.
Despite your dark vision, you can only see that there is a tunnel that leads into another chamber of the cave, but you can't see much beyond that. It just looks like it spills off more into darkness.
Well, which way do you guys think we should go? We gotta get out of here. I'm not a fan of this enclosed space.
Well, Matson, I know how much you like spiders, and I see some webs this way.
Mm-hmm. Should we stick together or split up?
No, let's stick together. I think it's smarter. We have no idea what's down here.
I feel like in the stories, they always split up and then bad things happen, so I agree.
Bad things are already happening.
So as you get closer to this exit of this chamber, in order to pass through it, you will have to disturb this very large crisscrossing web that goes across the space.
I'll carefully walk through and put my hand out, but I'm not expecting any kind of danger or anything.
You notice how thick and corded this spider web actually is, and it's actually quite a bit of resistance as you attempt to push through it, and everyone immediately needs to roll for initiative.
Oh boy.
Already?
Yes.
7.
6.
3.
14.
A 4-foot spider crawls out of a previously unseen hole. Ornie, upon seeing it, recognizes this variety of spider. It is a blue flame cave spider. They are bioluminescent. They have a blue and black glowing butt. There's a word for it. But it gets the jump on you guys for its first turn. I need everyone except for Sarah to roll a saving throw.
12.
7 for Matson.
11 for Adeline.
It doesn't matter anyway. The spider epically fails this.
Oh, God.
It attempts to shoot from its spinnerets an incredibly sticky webbing that would have definitely trapped you all had it not fired right past your heads, unable to calculate your varying heights because it's a spider. Immediately after this failure, a mysterious woman in shining armor appears behind the creature, flambered and glowing shield in tow, a chimera forged upon her breastplate. She would be an incredible Valkyrie-like vision to behold if she wasn't so dirty, desperate, and disheveled looking.
I'm going to slay this spider and I'm going to eat the insides because I'm hungry. And then Layla is going to slash and bash. 10 and 4.
So this mysterious woman lunges, stabs at the back of the spider for an incredible 15 damage, just right into that spider butt, and then gives it a backhanded bash with her shield for 9 damage, knocking the spider into the side of the wall, and the spider recoils with a bitch off to the side where it's and it's looking very worse for wear already with this triumphant hit from this interesting stranger.
Nice.
It is now Matson's turn to engage.
Who the hell are you?
Oh, hello. I am Layla Aranyes, and I am starving. Who the hell are you?
My name is Monson, but we'll talk about that later. And I go to attack this beast. Ooh, boy. 5 and 1 and 1.
Oh.
Boy.
Perhaps because the spider was just knocked out of the side and is slinking back into its position, when Matson goes for a strike, he goes over the spider's head and under the spider's foot as it's walking for a double miss in this moment.
Nice.
Or, maybe it's because Matson loves spiders. He just can't bring himself to hurt it. It is now Junk's turn to engage.
Hey, get out of the way, Matson. And Junk pulls out his warhammer, raises it high over his head, and he's going to try to come down and squash the spider like a bug with his new fantastic 9-head smasher, which for this move he's renaming 8-leg smasher.
Great.
15? For 5 plus 5, that's 10.
Great. Give me a clumsy check, too.
Oh, come on. Critical failure.
Great. The reason I needed you to engage with this clumsy check is because we are in a cave and his warhammer goes up, collides with the ceiling, and lodges itself there in the ceiling.
As Junk follows through with his swing, the warhammer is no longer in his hands. He reached back, it got stuck, and then he finished the swing, and he just turns and looks at the party.
Well, all right then.
Ornie looks up at you and is just like, one day you just look up before you swing, and then maybe, oh dear. And he wields his cudgel, he runs at the spider and just brains it for 14 damage. Jeez. And the spider is dead before Adeline even has a chance to engage with it.
Great.
Great hustle, Adeline.
I try.
Ornie is wiping the spider goo from his face.
Is it luminescent?
Oh yeah, it's totally bioluminescent. He looks sort of awesome. It's like he's at the Electric Daisy Carnival.
Nice.
Junk reaches up and dislodges his hammer and then checks on it to make sure that he didn't mess it up because he likes it. It's so pretty.
He loves his things.
He does love his things. Thank you very much for noticing.
Thank you for your help, mysterious hungry woman.
Spider soup, going to make a spider soup, and you can eat it too.
The woman is already using a small knife to cut one of the spider legs off.
I'm sorry. Where did you come from?
You just saw me fly out of the cave, didn't you? I've been in this cave eating spiders for a while.
How long have you been in this cave?
Well, since I have no sun or moon to count, I would say it feels like years. It's probably been a month.
And I'm guessing you don't happen to know the way out of here.
Well, I'm actually not trying to get out at the moment. Yes, I want to get out, but I also want to... Nothing. Yes, I'm looking for the way out.
I look over at Junk and kind of give him a what's up with this chick look.
I look to Matson, give him a big shrug, look over to the strange woman and go,
Hey, you're a strange woman.
Spider brain?
I reach out and I take the spider brain from her and I smell it and even Junk wouldn't eat this.
Oh, come on.
He then reaches back to Adeline and presents her with the spider-brain.
Not wanting to be rude, I take a sample.
Oh, that's gross, Adeline.
Eating the spider brain grants you temporarily +1 poison resistance.
Ooh. See, it pays to try new things.
What did you say your name was, my dear?
Layla Arrhenius.
I've heard of you before. You were a favored knight from King's Promise.
That's me.
What are you doing in this cave? And do you know what region we are in?
We are west of the soft lands.
How did we get there?
East of the hard lands, I think.
Monson looks over at Adeline. He's like, do you think she is telling the truth? Do you think she even knows where she is?
Adeline sizes her up, and I want to roll a sense motive. 10.
From where Adeline is standing, she can sense the hunger and fatigue on Layla's face, and it seems to you that she is telling the truth to the very best of her abilities in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a camp nearby here? Perhaps we can go and sit for a moment, try and figure out how to get out of here?
You can't make spider soup without a bowl. Come with me.
Layla leads you down this narrow part of the cave. The blue light becomes brighter and brighter as you walk through this cave. And to your left, you see a small, dark hole that the blue flame spider pulled itself out of.
Can I look down that hole using dark vision and see if I can examine it?
You sure can.
Natty 20.
Ooh.
You can see crystal clear 4 spider eggs nestled in their little places where spiders put their spider eggs. You can also see some exoskeletal remains of centipedes. Clearly, centipedes are the blue fire spider's main diet while living in this cave.
It looks like there's some eggs down this way. Do you think it's worth getting rid of those so we don't get any more visitors?
I mean, if they're eggs, it would just be an infant anyway, right?
You see how big that thing was? An infant, still probably like a foot big. That's a big spider.
Oh, Miss Layla, might you like those spider eggs for your soup?
Oh, yes, of course I would.
Psst, boss. You know, I could probably check that out for you first.
No, that's all right, Scamp. Ornie's got it. Ornie, you want me to give you a boost up there?
Oh, of course. That'd be very helpful, Junk.
Junk reaches down and at Ornie's request is going to give him a little boost.
Give me another clumsy check. To see
Oh,
if we
no.
can-
Poor Ornie.
No.
He just started talking to me again. That is another critical failure.
Oh my god.
Instead of lifting him up like a steady elevator, it's more of like you are punting a volleyball suddenly.
Oh, no.
And you knock Ornie up into the ceiling for 1 damage. And he then falls down and catches his hands on the lip of the hole. And it's just like,
I'm so sorry, Ornie.
I don't know what's going on with you, Junk, but you know what? I do know what's going on with you, Junk. Just try to get a handle on that rage. And Ornie
Ooh.
crawls into the cave. Moments later, he emerges with 4 bioluminescent spider eggs, and he hands them off one at a time, like someone who's carrying too many groceries to you guys. He reaches for like a baby who wants mom instead of dad, like reaches for Adeline or Matson to help him down.
I can help you.
Oh, thank you, my dear.
Layla then leads all of you into the next chamber, where you find the source of the turquoise blue light. It emanates from this impressive stalagmite growing out of the earth. Directly across from it is Layla's camp. There's a tent, a fire, and a pot. Tally marks on the wall beside it indicate that Layla has indeed been here for weeks. To the left and the right are 2 caved-in passageways. The right cave-in sits upon a small body of water.
Well, it's quite a nice little setup you have here.
Thank you. Here's a ladle of soup.
She has already gone to work stewing up this spider leg. The broth that it sits in is dark purple, likely from the brain blood from the spiders that she's been eating.
You're so hospitable. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm actually going to roll over to that stalagmite and just start looking at it.
Yeah, so when Adeline investigates the stalagmite, she is filled with a familiar feeling as to when she first saw the Kilbana stone of Silverhamer. Despite projecting no heat, it feels like it warms your soul. However, as you are not an adept in spellcraft, you don't feel suddenly imbued with magic or anything.
Matson, come over and check this out.
Huh. I mean, sure blows glue like a cabana stone, right?
I think so. Do you sense anything? I mean, I think you're stronger with magic than I am.
I'll roll for arcane sense magic. 17.
Yeah, when Matson gets closer to the stalagmite, he is more privy to the magic that emanates from it. He feels that if he were to engage in blood magic, the only magic that he knows now at this point in his life, that his blood magic might be more powerful in the presence of this very object.
Yeah, I certainly feel something. You don't feel it? I feel...
Layla runs over and stands right in front of them, blocking them from the stalagmite. You can look, but you cannot touch the stalagmite. It's all here in my mother's notes.
Your mother?
Yes, my mother was an archaeologist, and she told me about the stalagmite. It shares the same powers as these stones here on my shield and gauntlet.
Ornie walks over to investigate this as well. He adjusts his little glasses and he looks at the weaponry that Layla is carrying with better inspection. But when he looks at these small stones that sit, one in the center of her shield, one in the hilt of her sword, and one at the very crest of her gauntlet, he recognizes it as a stone very similar to the one that Matson had picked up in the lighthouse so long ago. He looks over at the stalagmite and sees that, to his knowledge, just like a stalagmite or a stalactite, it's something that grows over time. It picks up sediment, and it's something that he feels in this moment Layla is very right to feel the need to protect. This is something that is incredibly fragile, but incredibly powerful and important to this land.
Where's your mother now? Is she here with you somewhere?
No, she's gone. I haven't seen her for years, but she left these notes for me.
While they're all doing this and examining the stone, Junk has tried and has taken a liking to the spider soup. And so he is just now putting down this spider soup that she's made, ladle by ladle.
If you are ladling it down, you are going to gain a +5 in poison resistance as you drink this soup.
Great.
Yes, I've journeyed down here to discover the true source of power for my weapons, but also to maybe reclaim my legacy a bit.
Your legacy? What do you mean?
Well, you see, I'm a legendary mystic knight, or so I was before Walther.
Walther?
Walther, the idiot fisherman. You must have heard that song about me.
The song about you? Wait, hang on. Are you the Layla from The Hero's Downfall?
Ornie, do you know this song?
You know, I think we all know this song. The tramp Fiero sang it for us.
Oh.
How did it go? It was once there was a lady named Layla, and she killed a hydra. Then there was a guy, and he was hot. He had rippling muscles, and then he said...
I don't remember that part.
He said, hello, and she was like, winky wink.
Oh, yeah, and then she jumped into the ocean with her breastplate on and drowned because she was super dumb.
Yeah, that's you, girl, that dumb bitch.
Do I look drowned?
A little.
Yeah, some rouge wouldn't hurt.
Well, I mean, I feel very tired and I'm going cave crazy, but do I look drowned?
No.
Do I look like the kind of idiot that would swim out wearing her breastplate into the water?
No, I assumed that was just a song and not about anyone in particular. I would have never pieced it together. You know, I'm from Shell's Basin, and so I don't have a whole lot of connotation with the people of Norrens.
They all laugh at me, and I slayed a hydra. I'm a big deal.
That is a big deal. It took 5 of us to kill a hydra
Yeah,
before.
I did it all by myself.
And that wasn't even a real hydra. That was a man turned into a hydra.
I get upset. I get cockney. I'm falling apart.
Well, you're clearly very formidable. I mean, you basically killed that spider yourself, and you've been surviving on them, so I don't think any of us are going to question that.
But I hear that damn song every tavern I go into, every new town I go to. I want my own song. I want Layla, the glowing turquoise mystic knight who rode a dragon.
Clearly, you're a tenured lyricist. Now, I think that perhaps you spent too much time in King's Promise. If this is the place that... I'm never one to say, let's run from your troubles, but right now, Shell's Basin is in grave danger, and Silverhamer could assuredly use your help in the upcoming battles to come. Perhaps that's where you might find a new legacy.
Then that's where I shall head out.
You should join us.
I would love to.
Great,
but,
show us the door. Let's get out of here.
I don't know that part.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I made a big stink when I got in here, and singing a new song about my new legacy, and the cave caved in behind me.
Oh, you sang too loud and then it caved in?
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
that's happened to me more than I can count.
I mean, there was another tunnel back when we first arrived here. I don't.
Yes, how did you even get in? I didn't even think about that.
Well,
Huh.
you see, I used this fleshy severed hand, and I used this black onyx skull.
Oh, put him in the soup.
No, they are mystical objects, Layla. And then we all held onto it, and everyone said, Ornie is a cool guy, which is a great incantation. I think it's fabulous. And then we all showed up here in that cave on the other side of the of where we slayed the spider.
Is there any chance we could use the hand and the skull to get back out of here?
I'm afraid to risk it. I mean, it might just bring us directly back here. I need to look at those notes again to see if there's any additional ways to use it.
You could always put him in the soup.
Layla, can I see your mother's notes?
Here you are. Layla hands him the notes.
And I want to go through them and see if there's anything maybe I can learn either about the gem or how to get out of here.
Sure.
16.
When Matson looks at the notes, he actually finds a sketch of the cave that you're in right now. The stalagmite, as she drew it, is significantly smaller, indicating that when she went to this cave, it was a very long time ago. When you hold the drawing up, which is immaculately done, drawn in charcoal, her mother is a terrific artist, you can see that originally there wasn't a cave-in over the pool of water that you see to the left. That used to be an archway that led in some direction, and now it is caved in. The rest of the notes are about, the sedimentation of the cave and things like that.
Junk is done with the soup. He's eaten it in its entirety.
Oh my
And
god.
he turns back and walks to the party, stands next to them, all congregated around this stalagmite.
So what's going on here? Oh, hey, this looks like a cabana stone.
Junk, you're so handsome.
Oh, thank you, Adeline. And then he fixes his bowler hat.
We're trying to find a way out of here, actually.
Oh, yeah? What do you got?
Matson, did you glean anything from those notes?
Well, see the rocks over there by the pool of water?
Yeah.
Apparently that is potentially a way out. I have an idea. Maybe there's a way out under the water, and I want to go see how deep this water is.
Just investigate at the edge of the water.
All right. 6.
That water looks depthy. It looks... it has
Has a depth.
It has a depth to it. Boy, if you jumped in that water, you would be submerged. That's what you got.
All right. Well, I'm going to get up my Groflat, the hat that lets me breathe on the water. I'm going to go for a dive, I think.
All right.
But first, I am going to take the egg girl that's in my possession. I'm going to hand it to Adeline and say, please take care of this for the moment.
Okay. She takes it and kind of holds it close.
And
I hope it didn't get switched with one of the spider eggs.
When Adeline holds the egg in her hands, it despite it being in the shape of an egg, it doesn't have any of the fragility of an egg. It feels like if you tried to crack this open, you would break whatever object you were trying to crack it open with.
Oh my.
And also, I'm going to get out the rope that I have also in my possession. I take it out and I tie it around my waist, and I hand the other end to Junk, and I say, hold on to me, buddy.
Yeah, no sweat.
And I wrap the rope around one forearm and grab it with the other hand really tight.
Oh, and it's worth mentioning that the Grothla looks very silly. It looks like a like someone fashioned a swimming cap out of seaweed. Like a kelp bulb comes around and attaches to your mouth.
Hey, looking good, Matson.
Don't I always? And Matson jumps in.
So beneath the water, you can see the cave-in continues for several meters, all the way to the bottom, where it walls you in except for one central point. The rocks fell to create an archway just large enough for a human to swim through. There is no light pouring in from the other side, but using your dark vision, you can see it opens up rather than remaining a tunnel or leading nowhere.
I'll swim through it.
Yeah, so the tunnel is narrow, but you swim through it with little trouble. You crest the water on the other side, and you find that it is dark as pitch, but with your dark vision, you can spy a natural bridge that crosses a deep chasm, and across the bridge are a pair of large stone double doors, and they're flanked by 2 iron rungs, like where one would set torches.
Oh, boy. I think about it. I think about that hole, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if Junk's gonna fit through there. So I keep on going. I'm gonna check out these doors.
As you start to pull yourself up out of the water, there's a significant torque that starts to happen on the rope that gives you the sensation that you may cause instability in the cave-in from the torque of the rope going underneath the arch and reaching you.
I see. Yeah, I'm gonna head back.
All right, great. So Matsun jumps back into the water. He swan dives beauteously into the water.
How elegant.
But he does it in that sheer joy of being alone. He doesn't want anyone else to see how graceful he is on his own. He swims back through the archway, gathering the rope as he goes, and he pulls himself back up into the surface of the original
What did you find?
Well, first I'll say the Groflat works very well. I did find potentially a way out.
Great.
There are some doors on the other side. There's a tunnel underwater on the way there. I'm not sure everyone's going to fit. And also, we only have 3 Groflats among us, right?
Who ate my soup?
That is fun. When did this soup disappear? Maybe some centipedes came in and had some of these.
Junk lowers his bowler cap.
Weeks I've been starving. I've just been eating little bugs. I've been hunting that spider.
Oh, don't cry, Layla. I think that we might be onto something and help you get out of here. And then there's plenty of soup on the surface.
So are you having an argument about 3 water-breathing hats, 5 people?
Yes.
I know some simple math.
Tell us more.
Well, you have 3 people swim over to get up out of the water. The skinniest and smallest one comes back through the hole to give the remaining 2 their hats.
Perhaps not the smallest one. I do have trouble kicking with my little legs.
The skinniest?
Matsun. I would suggest that since there is a problem, a discussion of whether or not someone might fit or not, perhaps Junk, and I don't mean to intentionally leave you behind. In fact, we can be the second party if you would like, but maybe you should be the last one through the hole.
Ah, your ass is so fat from eating all my soup. You have a glowing tongue. I know it's you.
He doesn't want to talk because he doesn't want to show his tongue.
It's definitely stained purple, like you just had a grape lollipop.
Yeah, I mean, I can go last if you guys think that it matters.
Yeah, okay, sounds good to me. Someone give me a little hat.
I pull out my hat and I hand it to her.
Are we sure we just want to leave this source of this power? I mean, it could fall into the wrong hands if someone else gets here. Look how easily we got here by accident.
There's a pickaxe over in the corner. I could try to take a big chunk out of it.
No!
Didn't you come here to give yourself power?
To observe it, yes, but not to destroy it. If you touch it, it dies.
Oh.
I'm tempted to agree with Layla here. I think that this is clearly a growing object, and we don't know how to best treat it. I think an archaeologist like Layla's mother might be best suited for this sort of thing.
Matsun is racking his brain trying to think of a way to somehow get at this gem without everyone knowing, but there's no clear way, so he's like, all right, let's dive in. Let's make our way.
Matsun leads the first dive team, followed by Layla and Adeline. And congrats, you make it safely to the other side.
I would like to keep this afterwards, though. I'll give you some money. Can you imagine being the drowned knight who has a hat that lets her breathe water? I mean, the songs.
We'll talk about that later. Take the Groflats, and I jump back in, and I head back.
Matsun heads back successfully through the archway to the other side and returns and hands them off to Ornie and Junk. Ornie's covers nearly his entire skull, and Junk's sits like a yarmulke on his head.
Well, we look great.
How about we tie the rope around Junk just in case something goes wrong getting through that tunnel?
You're just going to pull me through regardless of if I fit? That could be very painful.
If you got a better idea, I'm open.
Nope. That sounds good to me.
And he ties the rope around his waist.
Ornie does a cannonball holding his nose as he jumps into the water.
So cute.
He plops like a little thing into a toilet.
Oh, that was cute.
What a cute little turd.
He's a cute little turd. He makes his way through the archway first. Matsun goes in second, and Junk is left at the edge of the body of water.
Junk looks over to Scampersan.
Well, I don't know how you're gonna get through this water here. We only have the one hat left that, lets me breathe underwater. So I guess this is where we part ways, little buddy. If you see Rasa, tell her I say goodbye, I guess.
Actually, boss, I heard her whisper, and she's pointed out a little passageway that I can crawl through without even getting wet.
Oh, that's great. That's great, buddy.
Yeah, I'll see you on the other side, boss.
And so Junk dives in, and he swims up to the small opening and is looking at it and is really worried he's not going to fit.
With good reason, because Junk, you have to roll a clumsy check.
Oh my god.
7.
As Junk enters the tunnel, his pauldron scrapes and catches against the rocks above him. It triggers a sense of panic, and he scrambles to dig into the sediment beneath him to make room for his larger body. The muffled, echoing sound of falling rocks beneath the water reach your ears, adding to your sense of panic. In a feat of desperation and adrenaline, you force your way through the tunnel and emerge on the other side, gasping. Your heart is racing. Behind Junk, the collapse has caused and created a new opening, now at the very top of the cave-in, and the blue light from the previous chamber is spilling against the ceiling.
Junk pulls himself up out of the water and kind of regains his composure. He unties the rope from around his waist and throws his ends over to Matson.
Scrambling with his own sense of panic through this new opening is Scampersand. You see him at the very crest of this new hill, and he shouts to you,
Wow, boss, I didn't even need to use the hole that Raza pointed out to me. You created this brand new big one. How thoughtful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, little guy. Okay, come on, catch up.
And Junk turns around, and I want to roll for perception to get my view of the land here.
Do it.
14.
Looking around the space, you see nothing more than Matson saw before, except because of the adjustment of the rocks, something has freed itself from the rubble and fallen off to one side. It is a torch made of stone with like a gold hilt at the bottom. And in the distance, you can hear a very unusual humming, but you can't make out exactly what it is yet.
Junk walks over to that torch, and he reaches for it to grab it.
And the moment that you lift it up, a blue flame just emerges from one side of the torch. Simultaneously, the humming gets louder, and a blue light starts to pour up from out of the chasm nearby.
Hey guys, check it out. I think I'm magic now. Weird lady's soup made me magical.
And then he's waving the torch over his head excitedly.
Ooh, do a rave dance.
He does a rave dance.
Wait, everyone stop.
Junk walks over back to the party with his blue magical torch and walks over to the edge.
Something's happening here.
When you peer down into the chasm, incredibly far below you, there is a flooded path that leads to another set of double doors. The path is being traversed by translucent glowing phantoms, spirits of ancient dwarves carrying pickaxes and other mining tools. They lumber and plod, destitute and sorrowful. Their song permeates every chamber of the cave.
Oh, sorrow. Oh, sorrow. The shining below brings thunder above. The shining below brings passion and love. The shining below is where we must go to harvest the shining below. Oh, sorrow. They say we must bring them the shining below. For wars that we lost and a debt that we owe. And so we pray that someday it will regrow. Forgive us, O shining below. Oh, sorrow. Oh, sorrow.
Is singing about the stalagmite.
I know that tune. I've heard it before, but we associate it with a sort of a crass limerick. It goes, my hiney below is what you must lick, and when you are finished, please suck on
Whoa.
I'm not going to finish it, but I think you get the gist.
Okay.
Oh my.
But I didn't know that this was the origin of the tune.
Well, look at that, Ornie. You're learning origins of your favorite dirty songs, and I'm magical with a cool magical fire torch. You know, I think things are turning around for us, Ornie. Hey, let's check out this door.
And Junk walks over to the big door.
The set of doors are massive carved stone ornamented with square panels that display various runes. And just as Matson saw before, it is flanked by 2 rungs for holding torches right at your eye level.
Junk takes note of the place where the torch should go, and even to Junk, it is obvious. And so he sort of begrudgingly takes his magical fire torch and puts it in the slot Sad to see it go.
Well, I'll have to be magical another time.
When you set the torch in the rung that's on the right side, all of the runes that are on that right side of the door just glow blue immediately.
Oh, look at that.
Junk, does that side of the door open now?
Junk pushes on the door.
Nothing happens.
Try pulling.
Junk pulls on the door.
It opens. Just kidding. there are no handles.
Yeah.
We must find the other torch, I assume.
Oh, any idea where it could be?
Well, how about I look around?
Mhm.
Roll for perception.
Yeah.
17.
Layla's perception of the space triggers a visual memory of her mother's archaeological notes. She recalls specifically notes regarding the very artifact in question. Beneath the torch rung on the left side, Layla crouches and finds a loose stone. She pulls out the stone to reveal a little hidey hole and finds the missing torch inside.
Wow.
Well, that was convenient.
Way to go.
It illuminates into blue flame just like it did in Junk's hand.
So what do you say? I put it in the little torch holdy thingy?
Go for it.
The little torch holdy thingy. You really did pay attention to your archaeologist's mother, didn't you?
I'm starving to death.
Great.
Layla puts the torch in the sconce.
As soon as this happens, the runes on the left door glow blue as well, and the double doors open inward. It's even brighter and bluer inside. The space is a fantastic great hall, tiled with marble columns and high ceilings. You get the sense that it would extend much further if not cut short by a magical wall of blue light, some sort of veil or force field. Standing guard at the wall is the apparition of a dwarven man, pulsing and flickering like a flame.
Wow. Wherever we are, I feel like it used to be really important.
As he's examining the beautiful tile work on the ground, Junk slowly walks into the room. And can I roll for a sixth sense?
Sure.
It's a 5.
You get the sense that there is a very strong malevolent energy in this space, and it's not even something that you necessarily need your sixth sense to feel. Anyone who has any sense of empathy would feel it, because it's not just like a magical feeling, it's also just a deep feeling of dread that lingers in the space.
Do you guys feel that?
It doesn't feel good.
It reminds me of when I showed up to a costume party, but it wasn't a costume party, and I was the only one dressed up.
I've been there, buddy. I've been there.
It makes me feel like someone ate all my soup.
Come in,
Says a voice.
No.
please enter. I will not hurt you.
Who are you?
I am Garrus. I'm the last guardian of Temushilin Shrine. You've come from the mines, yet you are not dwarves. You are human, gnome, some variety of elf and demon brood. But there's not a sorcerer among you, but perhaps you can be trusted.
Trusted for what?
Well, behind me is the once beautiful Temushilin Shrine, one of the 6 meccas of my ancient people. Here, the temple priestesses paid tribute to the Sky Tillers who brought us the shining seeds that blessed our lands with miracles and magic.
Yeah, we can be trusted.
Is there a way out through this way?
There is. The lift, the steam lift is beyond. But there is danger before that.
What kind of danger?
You see, when the sorcerers came, we believed them friends. Towering men who wielded magic with skill and knowledge we had never seen before. But they slayed our Sky Tillers, and in the fallout of the war, forced us to wipe our minds clean. They left with our magic to strengthen the lands of their own. That which you call Kelbana stones were left behind in pity. Pathetic crumbs of magic that once fed this land. The 9 priestesses of this temple, in their despair, tried to craft Kelbana of their own, but they poured into it their hate and their grief. Their stone is corrupted. It in turn corrupted them. Now they scuttle and crawl like the very centipedes that call this earth their home.
How sad.
Ornie has walked closer to this flaming vestige of this dwarven guardian, and he's warming his hands by the ghostly blue fire.
It's gotten quite cold in here. Are you telling me that these priestesses lie beyond and that they are dangerous?
Garrus, at this, says,
I'm losing strength. As it is now my time to fade, please rend the beast. Give their souls peace.
and the flame falls apart right in front of Kelber Ornie. And at this, you start to see a flickering in the force field that was left behind, and it's starting to dissipate.
Ooh, this is gonna be good. What rhymes with she slayed a bunch of centipede priestesses?
I made a bunch of spider feed feastuses. Yeah, that works.
As he slowly moves towards the force field wall.
Junk walks so slowly towards the wall that by the time he reaches it, the magic dies and falls around him like snow. The temple exposes itself as you would expect, a grand rectangular room, tiled and pillared as before. Hanging from the ceiling are several torn and weathered sheer swaths of fabric. They catch the light pulsing from a stone that hovers above a pillar directly on the other side of the room. It's the same shape and size of a Kelbana stone, but this one glows a sickly, putrid green and projects a disturbing sensation with every pulse of light.
As Junk gets closer to this evil stone, he starts to feel this rage build up inside of him, almost something that he fears as if it's uncontrollable. It makes him really uncomfortable.
Adeline, noticing Junk's shift in mood. What is it, Junk? Are you okay?
Yeah, Addie.
And as he says that, Matson walks past Junk and inches towards the corrupted stone.
As Matson starts to walk closer, he is dripped on by something.
Matson looks up.
Clinging to the ceiling, you see maybe the most horrific beast you have ever laid your eyes on. 9 dwarven priestesses have fused together in a way not unlike the human centipede, except not mouth to anus. Their heads line the back of this mutated creature, their gnarly, rotting, corrupted flesh hardened like a carapace, and their arms extending on either side to make 18 frightening legs. The front priestess's head froths at the mouth, and a second dollop of ooze lands on your shoulder with an audible wet plop. Roll for initiative.
You've got to be kidding.
It's a natural 20 for Junk.
15 for Matson.
5 for Layla.
And 4.
Maybe because Junk just so happens to be the least grossed out by this creature, but he gets the first go.
All right, Junk pulls out another one of his torches, lights it, and throws it as hard as he can up to the ceiling and attempts to light the sucker on fire.
That's going to have to be a really great throw. Let's see how it goes.
Remember, I have strength and stuff.
Sure.
That is a 20, 15, plus I have 5.
Yeah, so because it wasn't a natural 20, I'm not going to give you the benefit of the unnatural physics required to light the beast on fire.
Jerk.
But the torch hits for 1 damage and bounces off, clattering towards the back wall, nearly setting a hanging sheer ablaze as it does. The creature then scuttles freakishly over to the left side wall where it lies in wait.
Matson makes a mad dash for the stone and takes a big swing at it with one of his daggers.
Great.
16 for 1 damage.
When Matson strikes the hateful sphere, his dagger shatters against it.
Guys, don't strike the sphere.
I'm really glad you said that because I was thinking the same.
Yikes.
Maybe you didn't hit it hard enough.
Ornie wields a poultice of fire burst and throws this poultice of fire burst upon the centipede, and it explodes for a healthy 20 damage.
Yeah.
Just fires it from the wall. The centipede hisses and jumps towards the center of the space, fire still flicking off of it as it snarls in the very center of the room.
Okay, so attacking stone, bad. Attacking giant bug with fire, good. Adeline starts going through her quiver and separating her fire arrows.
It is the centipede's turn. Everyone who is standing on the floor in the space, which is, I believe, everyone, given the size of the centipede, now has to roll a dexterity throw.
Junk rolls an unnatural 20 again.
Layla rolls a 16.
Matson rolled a 15.
And Adeline rolled a 3.
Oh.
The centipede swings its body around the space like it's the hands of a clock and just knocks everyone down who fails to jump or flip or do something cool over it. Anyone who rolled underneath 15 for 12 damage.
Ooh.
Ornie gets pummeled by this. He flies against the wall. He is looking inescapably worse for wear. Adeline also, I assume, is doing poorly.
I'm now half.
Yeah. It is now Layla's turn to act.
I'll use my gauntlet. I have my Drake Flame. 4 and a 2 plus 2.
So Layla doesn't have to roll a d20 for accuracy for the skill, as it is associated with a special piece of equipment. Emerging from her mystic gauntlet is a little blue fire drake familiar. It spreads its scaly wings and takes to the air. With the ferocity of its much larger dragon kin, it does a sweeping pass across the priestess Sepide, breathing blue fire for 10 damage. The blue fire catches and continues to burn, ensuring the beast will take continuous burning damage from here on out every turn.
That was awesome, Layla.
That's why no one can buy me jewelry. I love the stuff I have.
Leia, you're the mother of drakes, I swear.
And with her Mother of Drake's comment, it is Adeline's turn to act.
Adeline is feeling pretty sore from the previous attack, but musters the energy to get up and loads her bow with one of her fire arrows and takes aim for the creature and lets loose. That's 8 and 6 times 2.
She fires it into the butt of the centipede.
I think I've done that before.
Yeah. The centipede, which is still absolutely flaming, does that bucking motion as it gets struck for a hefty 15 damage.
Nice.
When you strike the centipede, this time you notice it behave in a additional way. The tail end of the centipede, the very tail end, seems to turn black, and a phantom of a priestess rises up out of the shell.
You killed its ass.
From the back of the centipede.
Oh.
With that, it is Junk's turn to act.
Ornie, are you okay?
Yeah, don't worry about me. I have a health potion at the ready.
So with that, Junk turns to the centipede. He's going to rush in for what is usually a very successful Rage Wind attack.
Great.
That's an 18
Ooh.
for 8 plus 5.
Nice. The centipede is very large, and as he comes in with his Rage Wind, he spins around, striking the centipede for plus 12, plus 12, plus 12 damage, hitting it for 36 damage, striking into the centipede. When he does that, 2 more pieces of the centipede turn black, and 2 more ghostly visages of the priestesses rise up towards the clouds. They do a slight bow to you in the air, like, thank you for releasing me of my hate that kept me here.
They really are quite beautiful. Let's free these remaining 6 quickly.
And as this occurs, Matson feels a familiar energy emerge from him. The female ghostly presence that he believes to be Televin floats up to the departing spirits of the priestesses. She engages with them with solemn reverence. She places her hand against their hearts as if to give them a blessing before they move beyond to another plane. And with that, it is Matson's turn to act.
Well, kind of hoping for more than that, but all right. I work with what I got. I'm going to try the Bloodletter attack. So that's 13 and 3.
After watching this ceremony on the ceiling, Matson withdraws his knife. He stabs the beast in the face. It is the closest body part to him. He twists the knife and will indeed do continuous bleeding damage to this enemy, but right now he hits it for 3 damage. Ha! Ornie uses his turn to heal himself. He applies Ornie's special healing tonic to heal himself for 6 health.
Oh, that feels much better.
Yeah, looking great, bud.
You say I have a nice butt?
No, never mind. Fight the thing.
As it is now the centipede's turn, it immediately takes 3 damage in bleeding and blue flame burning. You watch a section of the centipede turn black and a priestess wafts away from it. And as Matson just attacked the face responds with rage and sprays him with acidic poison, delivering 3 damage of its own. Matson will now take 1 hit of poison damage for every turn until this condition is cured.
Ah, damn it.
And it is Layla's turn next.
Layla's gonna do her Vanguard Rush.
Ooh.
And so let's light this bitch on fire some mores. My D20 got a 15. And my D8 got an 8.
Nice.
Woo!
So Layla charges towards the beast, and when she has picked up enough momentum, she drops her shield to the floor and surfs across the tile. When she reaches her target, she crouches, grabs the side of her shield, and drop kicks it into the side of the centipede. A blue flame shockwave occurs on contact, and she strikes for a massive 25 damage.
Whoa.
2 chambers of the centipriestess go dark, And as Layla returns to her stance, you all believe her worthy of her legendary reputation.
Damn.
Wow.
And it is Adeline's turn to act.
Yeah, Adeline just readies another fire beetle gland arrow and aims once again. Okay, that's 8 and then 3 times 2.
Adeline looses her arrow and connects with a section of the beast right behind the head. After exploding with fire, that pod also goes dark, releasing the spirit of yet another priestess. Junk is still recovering from his rage wind attack, so he skipped over in favor of Matson.
Matson pulls out his old dagger to replace the other missionary that got damaged, and he's going to go in for a regular attack.
And as he readies this attack, he feels the sting of the poison that is now part of his blood system and takes -1 damage. Ow!
Woo, that is a natty 20.
Wow.
1 and 2.
Matson delivers a killing stab right to the face of the lead centipede chamber. A priestess spirit flits away to greet Matson's spirit. Without the head, as it were, active, the centipede is clumsy. It wriggles about, but still active as one section remains.
Gross.
Ornie shouts out before his turn,
Matson, do you think you can make it till after we kill this thing to cure your condition?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Great.
He runs towards the centipede, now filled with strength from after consuming his potion, wields his cudgel in his hand like a baseball bat, and just starts bashing into the side of this centipede. Just thwack, 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 blood and ooze squirting out as he does so. The priestess, whose soul is in this last compartment of this centipede, exits like, okay, and starts floating up towards the ceiling to interact once more with Matson's spirit. Upon this last interaction, the spirit gives parting blessings to this priestess, and the remains of the shell, this husk of this blackened centipede, starts to float away like ash, just spreading across the ground.
Oh man, I was gonna eat it.
With this, the orange-colored spirit floats down to interact with the corrupted stone. She places her palm against it tenderly as if she pities it. Then she gives it an embrace. She fades away, but not in a way that makes Matson believe that she's gone forever. But when her image fades, the stone too becomes inert.
What did you just do, Matson?
I have no idea. And with that, Matson walks up to the stone and puts his hand on it.
When Matson touches it, it fractures suddenly at first. And then, similarly to what just occurred with the centipede, it begins to break away like ash.
I mean, you guys saw what that stone did to my dagger, and Teravin is on my side, so I can only assume she did us a favor here.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah, me too.
Is everyone okay?
I'm great.
That was an excellent drop kick you did earlier.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, Ornie, the way you destroyed that centipede at the last. I know that in my next song they're gonna say, "Ooh, Ornie made her so horny."
I have never heard that rhyme before. Back me up, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Matson, do you have a potion of cure condition, or should I hand you one of my own because you are poisoned somehow?
I have an anti-venom. Will that work?
Oh, yes, that would be excellent. You should use that.
Then I'll use my anti-venom to cure myself.
Matson drinks the antivenom potion, ridding himself of his poison status.
So Junk looks beyond the ash of the evil Kalbana stone, looks up to the ceiling and wants to sort of look around. I want to roll a perception to see how the hell do we get out of here?
Sure.
That's a 4.
It's still a well-illuminated space. It has this phantomous glow that's still around it. Directly ahead of you, you see that there is a table to your left and a cabinet to your right, and there is a second set of double doors straight ahead.
Junk, being the pack rat that he is, cannot resist walking over to the cabinet, and I want to open the cabinet and inspect what's inside of it.
When you open the cabinet, you find 4 priestess robes. They are teal with brown trim.
Not dissimilar to Excalibur Ornie's?
Yes, however, they are sized for dwarven women.
Oh.
Additionally, you find 2 rods that are maybe magic. You just can't really tell what they would do.
Hey, Ornie.
Yes.
Hey, look, there's some robes that look kind of like yours.
However, there are dots in place for breasts. I don't have breasts anymore.
Right, not sure what that means, but what are these rods for?
Oh, interesting. Matson, perhaps you should have a look at these.
What are they?
They are carved wooden rods, but they have a blue stone at the end, but not like the blue stones that adorn Layla's armor. These are less opaque. They're more clear.
I'm going to roll a sense magic. 12.
Matson gets the sense that these are magical rods that would be magic in the hands of someone who had the skill to use them.
Adeline, still feeling a bit weak from the earlier attack, kind of just makes her way over to this table, thinking maybe she'll just lean on it, but then also decides, hey, what's on this table?
On the table, there are bundles of dried lamb's ear. Not the animal lamb's ear, but the plant lamb's ear.
Mm-hmm.
There is a mortar and pestle with ground lamb's ear in it, and there is also a wand on the table.
Adeline starts to collect all the lamb's ear, seeing that it was in the mortar and pestle and thinking, this is probably going to be helpful at some point. Hey, over on this table over here, this looks like a wand. Might be of interest to you, Matson.
Ooh. I run over and check out the wand. I'm going to roll a sense magic for this thing also. Another 12.
Unlike the rods, you discover that this wand is imbued with an existing enchantment. Sort of like a scroll. You wouldn't necessarily need to be proficient in magic in order to use this. It just works.
I say rods are for girls. I shove them in my pants.
Love it.
All right, well, Layla takes the rods and Matson will take the wand.
Here you go, Adelaide. Here's one for you.
Oh, thanks.
I believe her name is Adeline. You know, but I have said it wrong before.
It's okay, everyone messes it up. No worries.
Well, let's see if I can get these doors open then.
As Ornie is pushing on the door, Junk reaches over and attempts, like, sleight of hand to help him push the door open, but almost in a way that Ornie feels like he's doing it himself.
You'll have to do a clumsy roll for that one.
It's a 3?
Oh, boy. So Ornie can totally hear you as you are over him, panting still from the battle. And but he smiles to himself, acknowledging that you're trying to make him feel strong. With that, the doors creak open, and you are in a giant chasmous space. There's a walkway that leads to a very large stone disc with 4 flames, ongoing, burning the same blue flame. There's a center pillar that has a recessed imprint, exactly the shape of a shield. There is a light trickling in from above, and that's the space.
Why is everyone staring at me and my shield?
You know, where I come from, things fit into things. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, Ornie, you've been dropping hints at me all morning. I'm on to you.
Junk walks slowly around the outer circle to examine the other side of the pillar while the rest of the party enters the room.
The other side of the pillar has carved instructions. It basically shows a bearded dwarven man wielding a shield, pressing it against the center pillar.
So it's not words, it's like IKEA instructions?
Yeah. It's like he's got that troubled look on his face at first, like, ooh, do I have my tools? Oh, here they are. It's a shield. I'm going to press it against this.
Hey, Layla.
Yes.
I can't help but notice that your shield looks exactly like the shield on this delightful little pictogram.
Okay, Suit Boy. I'll stick my shield in that if it makes you all happy.
As Layla's shield unites with this pillar, blue fire is activated beneath the disc you stand on. Steam releases and bats flutter above you as the ancient lift begins to propel you all upwards to the surface.
As the party stands on the lift looking up at the sky, Adeline begins singing softly to herself. My hiney below is what you must lick, and when you are finished, please suck on my dick.
Adeline!
What? It's incredibly catchy. Ornie, is there another verse?
And that seems like a good enough spot as any to wrap up this half of Chapter 6 here. That was a very gross monster battle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paul, what do we get for all of our troubles? This disgusting... What did we call it? A
centipede.
A centipriest? A centipriest?
A centipriestess.
Perfect.
Well, the blue flame spider that Layla and Ornie solo killed, that gave you only 25 points, but you can add that onto the 325 that the priestess centipede gives you in slaying
So
her.
350 in total?
350 in total for this portion of the chapter.
Brings us to 3550 by my math. So thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. She's kind of a badass.
Yeah, Layla's awesome.
Yeah, I am really enjoying this lady, and I hope I get to write a real song for her soon. She deserves it.
Yeah, she's really obsessed with this song.
I do wonder if she's always hungry or if she's just like especially hungry now. Like if she
starving.
She's starving. She's been in a cave for God knows how long.
I don't know, but Junk definitely feels bad about eating all that soup because
As
she
he
has not
should.
let him forget it.
Well, I mean, that was a big pot of
That was
soup.
rude.
For the business here, please make sure you are following D&DW Pod on all social media, and check out D&DWpod.com for more information. You can get some cool character art, some backgrounds. There's also a bunch of stuff that if you only listen via the podcast feed, you might not see. Stuff like our shopping in the previous chapter, or random little songs, or a play that we might have put on. So make sure you're always checking D&DWpod.com for bonus content that you might not be getting here in the podcast feed. And click the contact button. Write us an email, and we will respond to you on our roundtable episodes. Also, please, if you're enjoying the podcast, the absolute best way to support us. This podcast takes a lot of work, and we want to continue to do it, and to do it for no cost to you. But if you want to show your support, check out the shop. All you got to do is click on the shop. There are some great t-shirts, some mugs. You can get a Guest of Quest shirt yourself. You can get a Critically Clumsy shirt, which I have to say is my personal favorite, of course. And that is a great way to tout your podcast pride, all while supporting D&DW Pod, which, again, we really love doing, and we love that you're listening. With that said, please give us a rating review on iTunes. It's super easy to do, and it'll help the show find organic listeners, and also it will help us potentially maybe get listed on a rating chart or two. So please do that if you can. Last but not least, make sure you check out It's Dragon Wagon on all social media so that you can keep up on all of the doings of the Dragon Wagon Radio podcast network. Alexandra, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.
Matthew Hinksman.
So long.
Sarah Oliver.
Go away.
Paul Bianchi.
Stay here.
On behalf of everybody here at Dungeons & Dragon Wagon, we will see you next quest.
It's Dragon Wagon.